Hi, thank you all so much for joining us today. We're going to be talking about Cheryl's advocacy and leadership on the council, and today's topic is actually policing and police reform and reimagined policing, and how Cheryl has worked really hard on these issues. And I'm going to turn it over for testimony to Andrea Prichett. So whenever you're ready.
All right, well, thank you. Well, I've known Cheryl since 2016 when she announced her candidacy for the District 2 City Council challenge to Daryl Moore. And I was excited then, and I'm excited now that she's running and holding the spot for us. I'm with a group called Cop Watch, and I've been with it for 30 years. And what we've been trying to do is hold police accountable through direct observation of the police. Now we pressed policy changes, and we had struggled. We had to, what can I say, wage many battles without a true advocate on the city council. And so when Cheryl got onto the city council, it was clear that her background in finance and accounting and accountability was really to our benefit, because we were raising questions. She appointed me to the Police Review Commission. And from there, we worked together to come up with metrics by which we could measure the success of the police department, to pressure them to identify their staffing goals, identify their budget priorities, identify whatever kind of planning they're doing, and whatever metrics they have for measuring, are they even effective? And so we put these proposals forward slowly by slowly. Now we see there's a city auditor who's actually auditing the police department. You know, it's taken time. I've been kind of shocked and amazed by how slowly things move through the city and through the city council. But fortunately, with a steady pressure from Cheryl and other allies, this movement for justice and care not cops has taken hold in some really important ways. And there's some really exciting things happening with the city. But again, you know, Cheryl was out front, you know, even on the call for a 50% defunding of police. Cheryl's vision, she's out front. So at first they all vote against her, and then they start doing what she was proposing that they do. So, you know, it's not easy being a little ahead of the curve. But I want to make sure that we continue to have that voice and continue to have somebody who's willing to challenge, you know, the powers that are so very comfortable in our city. I can also say this, there's no change going to happen in the police department unless the leadership of the department changes. That's a fact. And the current leadership of the police department has managed to stymie, delay, deny wrongdoing, deny accountability. And Cheryl has called for a no confidence vote in the chief, because it is imperative. You know, this is the elephant in the room. Somebody's got to have the courage enough to name it. She named it, and others have followed. And this is the fight that we have, because unless we can get political leadership in the city in control of the police department, the reforms that we need will not happen. So thank goodness we have a fight around the council.
Thank you so much for your story and testimony and all the work that you're doing. I know that you're constantly keeping up, going to all those council meetings and all of that. So we really appreciate you.
Thanks. Thank you. Thank you, Cheryl.
Yeah, thanks. And thank you, Cheryl. So next I'm going to have Will Skinner speak. And Will, thank you so much for showing up and giving your testimony.
Yeah, so, well, thank you so much for having me. Unlike Andrea, I am quite new to this struggle, and my first city council meetings that I attended over Zoom were this summer. And, you know, I was active in the streets with the defund the police movement, and, you know, follow that up with trying to hold city council accountable. And I went in as many naive first-time activists might, with really high hopes that, you know, in the face of the biggest social movement in 30 years and the most people in the streets in decades, in the most progressive, quote unquote, city in the country, that the city council would be really receptive to this message. And instead of that, I was shocked to see that the city council was full of no's in the face of caller after caller after caller for 8 hours until 2 in the morning. The city council just said, let's think about this. We want to study the issue. Mayor Arreguín said, we want to make sure that we're maintaining the police at the same levels that they are. We want to, quote unquote, keep the same levels of service being provided, which was flying directly in the face of what thousands of people on the streets and in the calls were saying. And so then we have a council member like Cheryl Davila who said yes. And not only said yes, wrote the bill and brought the bill that step by step articulated exactly the demands that everyone in the street was clamoring for defunding for at least 50% and a whole suite of other accountability measures. So when everybody else said no, Cheryl was the one who said, yes, I'm on board, let's do this. And she worked her butt off to try to get those other counselors on board with what all the people were saying needed to happen. And so now here we are a few months later, the fight continues, even though folks aren't in the streets as much. And now the one person who was really willing to make a stand is facing re-election challengers, and several of them that are endorsed by everyone else on the council who said no to police reform. And so I have been supporting Cheryl Davila since that first call that I attended, because I really feel like if another candidate, forget their qualifications and whatever they may be claiming to support, if another candidate unseats Cheryl this year, the message to the rest of the council will be clear that defunding the police is a losing issue that they should steer clear of. So I think if we want to keep this movement moving forward and we want to make sure that this actually happens, we need to make sure that Cheryl Davila stays on the council and continues to do the amazing work that she's been doing. So thank you, Cheryl, so much for saying yes to the movement and really articulating in clear English what needs to get done.
Thank you, Will, and thanks for getting involved, and we need you. So like, you know, keep it up no matter what. Like that passion and power is so needed in our city. All right, Cheryl, do you want to give a few words to wrap it up?
Yeah, well, thank you both for being here and saying such amazing things. I'm trying to do the best I can, and even though that 50% didn't go through, the mayor put 8 out of the 10 points of my item into his item modified. So that's success.
Yes.
So, you know, regardless of how it happened, it happened. So that's amazing. And yeah, we're gonna have the no confidence vote on Tuesday, November 10th. So show up for that meeting as well. And thank you for your support. It's been amazing. Today's Halloween. Happy Halloween, everyone. And we just came back from a parade throughout District 2 that was fun, and had a bunch of folks join and start and then not finish, but they went as far as they could. So we had a good time regardless, and gave out some candy, met some folks. And, you know, we have to stay, keep a smile on our face, because, you know, we're in challenging times, and we just have to keep on keeping on, just like always, right? So thank you for your support. Let's hope things turn out successfully on Tuesday, and always praying for a better tomorrow. Have a blessed day. Thank you so much.